Lesson Plan Workshop, Session 1, Writing Objectives.
Welcome to our first training session in this 10-part series on how to write an engaging lesson plan.
Hi, I'm your trainer, Jamie Thompson, and I am an instructor at Sam Houston State University for pre-service teachers. I have 21 years of experience in education, and I look forward to serving you in this training.
And I'm Jessica Collier. I'm the Associate Director of Assessment at Sam Houston. I have 10 years of higher education experience, and I also look forward to working with you.
Included with your Zoom invitation were several resources to be used throughout the 10 training sessions. For this first training session, please refer to the document for Part 1 called 10 Design Qualities for Engaging Students. We have included a QR code just in case you don't have it open. When writing an engaging lesson plan, you should take into consideration the 10 design qualities listed within this resource. Our focus for this training will be on the first design quality, content and substance.
The content and substance design quality tells us that teachers and administrators have a clear and consistent understanding of what students are expected to know and to be able to do. What that means is that teachers must have a clear understanding of the grade level content they are teaching. Teachers must also be able to write objectives that are measurable and that align with state standards.
When writing objectives, you must take into consideration your state standards. As we have previously discussed in class, by state standards, we are referring to the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, or TEKS. You also need to consider Bloom's taxonomy. So let's think back to our class activity from Bloom's taxonomy. Remember, Benjamin Bloom identified 6 levels of higher order thinking skills. And these skills, these verbs, are included in each TEK. In our previous class activity, you used the TEK seen on the screen to categorize each verb within Bloom's taxonomy. It is important to remember that as a teacher, you must identify the level of Bloom's expressed within the chosen TEK in order to plan a lesson that meets the TEK or the lesson objective. For example, 4.1e uses create and use as the intended verb to be measured in the relation to the student objective. Teachers must recognize the verb in order to plan a lesson that aligns with the objective. All activities, products, and assessments should correspond to the level of Bloom's verb. A common mistake pre-service teachers make begins with the misunderstanding of the verb or Bloom level. For example, pre-service teachers sometimes change the verb or write a lesson that doesn't meet the expectation. And so in this example, create is what the student should be doing. So the pre-service teacher should write a lesson that provides students an opportunity to create the product. Many times pre-service teachers will change that verb, and instead of using create, they use identify or describe, and that changes the objective intended for that audience or that learner.
Now let's practice with a couple of examples. For the remaining examples in this lesson, we will use TEKS 2.1a. Please pause the video here and write an objective that aligns with this TEKS.
Now that you've had an opportunity to practice writing an objective, let's review a few examples of how it might appear. For the first example, student will was the only necessary addition to the TEK, keeping the verb and the content of the TEK the same. Another example would be adding the student will and eliminating the content not being covered by this particular lesson. However, it is important to remember that the teacher is responsible for teaching all TEK content expectations for the student at the appropriate time during the school year.
We hope you're now confident in knowing what a good objective might look like. Now let's switch it up. Find the mistakes in the objective example at the lower half of your screen. Pause the video if you need time to think about it. So what did you decide was wrong with these objectives? That's right. The verb was changed when the objective was written. It now says identify instead of explain.
Now find the mistakes in this example. Please pause the video if you need time to figure it out. As seen on your screen, the verb was changed when the objective was written and an activity was included within the objectives. Each is an incorrect way to write the objective.
Now that you've seen what to do and what not to do, work with your classmates to write clear and consistent objectives. Group members are listed in the LMS. With your group, first select a TEK, then work together to write an objective. Post your objective in our course Padlet and provide feedback to 2 other groups. We'll check in and comment on everyone's work as well.
Thanks for your active participation. If you have questions about the task or even just curiosity questions, please post them on the discussion board. If not, we will see you for part 2, where we will discuss organization of knowledge. Be sure to review the part 2 handout beforehand to get a basic idea of what we mean by organization and knowledge. And for those who want to take a deeper dive into developing objectives using TEKs, check the LMS for additional resources.